everyone. On my way back to the house from Elko, Nevada, and we had a pretty good time, and there was a lot of things that I missed out on, and a lot of things on my mind. So I had a good time, and I got to see a lot of people that I hadn't seen in a long time, meet new people, and that's always great, of like mind, and do a lot of visiting. Didn't get to do enough visiting as usual, but I've not followed the Oregon deal as much as I did the Bundy deal when it first happened, but now I've listened to a lot of the videos of Mr. Finicum after the fact that he's been murdered, I believe. I've talked to several people when I was in Elko. Not much, just, their thoughts on the whole deal. And being in Texas, so far away from that, you don't realize it until you drive up to there how far it is away, but it's a big problem. I'm friends with Adrian Swill on Facebook. We're of same like mind. Two people far apart, but I agree with him, and he had sent me a message and wanted to come up, and I wished he would have, because I would have liked to sit down and talk with him. And he asked what I thought about going up there and talking to people about what's going on, but it was my first time to go there, and I didn't know how it'd be received. Either people want to hear it and they want to do something about it, or they don't care. It's pretty much the gist of the whole deal going on throughout the country out west. Most people don't give a damn. There's only a handful of people that really care, and then they'll sit back and see what happens. I could be classified as one of those, but I want to get all the facts and knowledge about everything that's going on something that I'm so far away from, but I understand the principle of the whole deal, and I think it's just on the side of the people standing up, because there is a lot of crap that people don't see going on behind the scenes, in the cover and power of a government entity, a bureaucracy. We don't have that BLM here in Texas, and have those. So a lot of Texans don't understand how the BLM works with ranchers. And I was explained a long time ago, because when I was out there working, I didn't know what the hell they were. Like, who are they? Well, everything's checkerboarded and deeded land, checkerboarded land, government-owned land. I mean, pretty much the way it looks is, or the way it is it's checkerboarded in sections. So you don't have control over your whole place. You have control over. You don't have control over nothing without them, and they're telling you what to do, even on your own property, because it joins their property. So you're pretty much with your hands tied behind your back trying to make something work. And a lot of people that don't understand that have no idea of what these guys are standing up against. I don't know as much as Mr. Finicum or any of these guys that are actually living it daily and dealing with that, but I do understand the grievances that they have and why they're tired of it. And when you see ranchers get shut out and drove out, even in Texas, it pisses me off. So you can't fight that power by yourself. It's hard. I mean, my hat's off to those guys that do stand up and say, you know what, I'm not going to do it anymore, you're going to have the rain of hell come down upon you. Monetarily, physically, biblically. But anyway, I watched the video. I have, you know, and I've kind of been in a bad mood through not a bad mood, but just you know, this has been in the back of my mind while I'm trying to somewhat have a good time. I can't sit there and actually really have a good time when this is on my mind. And these things are going on, and it's not really talked about. You know, I don't know. I just wanted to make this video. I haven't followed it as much as I should have, just for the information, the knowledge, to not just run my mouth like every freaking idiot that you see commenting on something that they probably know nothing about, calling these guys terrorists and welfare ranchers and shit like that. It pisses me off because they don't even have an idea or a clue of what's going on. They don't even know how these deals work, but they side with the federal government because their status, they like licking the boot. They like bowing down to somebody. By God, if an individual stands up, and actually a producer who doesn't need any help, he's pretty self-sufficient. Nobody likes that kind of person. I'm here to tell you, there's a handful of people who respect that man or woman that does that, who's self-sufficient and doesn't need any help or handouts or anything. And people of like mind, if they have a problem, they'll come together to help that person out. I mean, that is a small minority of people like that left. And I'm glad to know people like that. And those are the kind of people I cling to. And I know a bunch of them out west, and hell, I know even some around where I'm at. But the whole deal is just, it's overwhelming. And there's so much to grasp and so much to learn, and on top of everything else that's going on in the world. And you know, it's a lot to take in. But what I've tried to read the comments in videos of I see, and I just read. I get sick, man. I get so angry, you know, and I have to just get away from it because it's just, all I can explain it to is ignorance of, I can't even pinpoint. It may be somebody that lives in a city and doesn't even understand animal or anything of how a ranch or anything works, and they're sitting there commenting and calling these guys terrorists, or they deserve what they got, and you know, just it's sickening to me when the whole deal is exposing so much corruption, so much misuse, so much despotism by a bureaucracy and federal agent in a county, just one. It's crazy. It's a shame. What I'm trying to say in this video is, it's a shame that one good man has to lose his life before anybody opens their freaking eyes and asks questions about what is going on. Why does somebody have to die who is a good person, standing up for something right, before the masses of people turn around and then they say, oh, well, that we don't agree with that, but that's terrible, he got shot. Well, it wouldn't have come to that, I don't think, if more people would have been knowledgeable about what the hell's going on. And that whole deal is a setup. I believe they had to murder him. I think they wanted to murder the whole group of those people because those guys are a threat, not to the federal government, but the bureaucracy that is the BLM, the Forest Services, and all these agencies that are not constrained by Congress, that they make their own laws, and that threatens their power. And that is why this whole thing was a setup to kill these guys. It sucks. But until people realize that little deal, that little key right there, you won't see the bigger picture. That there is terrible corruption going on, cover up after cover up. The whole damn thing stinks to high hell. So I'm finally home, but the whole thing, I think it's sickening to me. It's sickening, and I really believe there's a special place in hell for these people that side with the government that's out of control, or a bureaucracy. Yeah, the whole thing, it goes all the way up and it just trickles down to your state, local, and state and local. And once there is no rule of law higher up, I mean, your locals and your lower of the states and counties, they figure they can get away with the same shit too, I believe. And you see it. And it sucks you have to have a man lose his life before people actually ask the question, and then it threatens their office that they hold or their judge seat that they hold, of exposing the corruption that is going on throughout the whole system. But that's where it has to start. In every state, in every county, across the United States. And it takes the deal out there was a peaceful one compared to the shooting, or I mean not the shooting, but the rioting you saw going on out east, where they destroyed businesses and burned down everything and shut down commerce. I mean, that to me is terrorism. This out here was a bird sanctuary, for God's sakes. And then you see all types of spin in favor of the government by bird watchers and animal rights activists, and it just makes you sick. It's propaganda. And this video could be considered propaganda, but it's not. I'm not meaning it as propaganda. I'm just saying, why does one man's life have to end before people wake the freaking hell up? That's what I'm basically trying to say. It sucks. And I've watched those videos before this man died, and I had respect for him. I just watched one a while ago, and I realized I haven't had time to be by myself to watch these things and learn and construct my own opinion about the whole deal in general. But I have now. I've watched enough to know. I've talked to enough people to know. And it's a sad day today. I've kind of been bummed out all weekend. I really didn't show it, but we tried to have fun and put it out of your mind. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking this is just going to get worse and worse. And you got to watch the spin on all this shit, especially with the media. You cannot trust the media. They are in the government's control, and they're going to give the talking points that the government wants the people to know. The media does not go out and actually report what's going on both sides, because there's so much to cover up. If they did, yeah, there'd be a lot more people involved in this. So they got to keep it quiet. They don't even hardly cover it, and it's sad, but it's starting out here. And I just want to add one more thing before I cut off of here. You need to look up Agenda 21. It's been written a long time. It's been in publication through the UN. It's their plan for the United States of America. And if you've never read it, it lays out exactly what the hell is going on. If you don't believe it, it's a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. It's wrote. It's in public information. You can go look it up. You can print it out and read the whole damn thing. And there's more of these deals. But the average person doesn't know or care. It'll affect property rights. This is big, on big land. Eventually it's going to get to you, a person that's owning a house in a subdivision. And you need to understand that out there is going to affect you probably more sooner than later. Especially somebody that owns property. They're already talking about doing it in Texas on the Red River. Taking property that's been paid taxes on and been owned for years, since the 1800s. Claiming that. The government's claiming that as theirs. Now, I don't even know the whole deal on that. I've read a little bit here and there. But it's bad. But that's the reason they go after these small people with big land, because the average person doesn't give two shits about them. It's not affecting them, but it really is. But what they don't understand is it's going to. When they're out of the picture, then they'll start encroaching upon smaller land owners and private property, and then until you get into subdivisions and people that own 5 acres to an acre to a third acre and with a house on it. It's going to get worse. Everybody's going to be affected by this, and it's starting right here in Oregon, and it's been starting all out in these big, vast areas of land. And there's also more to it than people think. But it takes crap like this and investigating to figure out and put 2 and 2 together. Well, there's bad stuff going on behind the scenes. And nobody sees that because it's not getting reported or exposed like it's supposed to. But anyway, that's my 2 cents on the whole deal. Other than that, I don't really know. But it sucks. The main point of this deal is it sucks that that there has to be a death before people actually, say, oh my God, this is not a thug gangster that got shot. This is a good dude, a good guy. He's just like you or me, with a job. But he's tired of the corruption, the bullying. Here we are in a nation where everybody's talking about teaching your kids not to bully other people, and here's a prime example of a bully picking on a little guy, trying to get his lunch money, or make it where he can cease to operate and put him out of business. With all these deals, they still encroach upon that individual and his personal property that he owns, and pretty much make it where he cannot sustain and live and do what he does and has done most of his life. Ranch and farm and whatnot. Hell, even the mining deal. And people fail to see that. Whether it be from jealousy because, or they just apathy of not giving 2 dams. But it's coming. It's coming. And you need to go look that up and read it. It's forcing people off of these places into small cities, and then hopefully to be just pretty much in one, just cluster. And you can't even go on those deals anymore. And that affects these people who are nature hikers and all that crap. You won't be able to go on that land either. You won't even be allowed on it. So it will affect you. If you don't stand up for these ranchers out there, giving you the rights to walk out there and trail out there and go sightseeing and do all that crap. Those are the guys that are fighting for your right to be out there, to enjoy those things. You got to stand up with those guys and gals that are doing this. I mean, that's the truth. There's no welfare ranching. Ain't no those That's a joke. That's just that's a propaganda piece to put out there. It's kind of like a conspiracy theory. A conspiracy theorist. You know, that's just still little jabs that are put out there to give somebody with no credibility in their argument a jab, or like calling somebody a racist. It's the same thing. But anyways, this video pisses you off, I really don't care. If you don't stand with that guy, it matters to me. You can unfriend me on Facebook, you can do whatever, I don't really care. But I know what they're doing is right. Just like what I knew when the Bundys were doing their deal, that it's right. When you look at what's happening and what's going on, and then it gets down to them, you see the bigger picture, not that small picture. You look at the bigger picture that's led up to the point, and then you can see it. If you're looking and you want to learn and you want to know the real truth about things, it's what you do. If you don't, and you just want to form an opinion of uneducatedness, or an uneducated opinion about the situation, you look like a freaking idiot too. But I'm a pretty good judge of character, and it's from doing things like this. And they always go after the strongest, because the strongest of those leaders is a force to be reckoned with. And if they can, it's been throughout history, this, you know, look at the Roman Empire and Jesus Christ. I'm not comparing that. There was a reason why it had to be fulfilled, but when it comes to Jesus, but if you look at the processes of how it came to be, and throughout history, I mean, golly, so many people don't know history anymore. But anyway, we've got a problem. We've got a big problem, and there's problems everywhere. Big problems that are going to affect everybody, and you may not want to hear it or believe it and stick your head in the sand. But there's going to come a time when you're going to say, my God, what's happening? How come this is happening to me? And nobody's going to be there to stand for you. Your neighbor ain't going to care. If you didn't stick up for the guy out here, it's eventually coming to a head. And then you'll be, oh crap. It's too late then. It can't be reversed. So, I think that's my rant. But the whole main deal is, why don't let... It's a shame. Don't let somebody die. A waste. It's a waste. I'm not saying his life's a waste, but it is a waste of a good man. A good human being. It seems. To finally light a fire under people. To pay attention. So, anyway, I guess I've ran on long enough. But anyway, God bless. Peace out.